Okay, it's review time, and today we'll be going over the Sig Sauer mosquito, chambered in 22 LR. As always, our weapon is safety checked and completely unloaded. Okay, I'm going to bring you guys up to a bit of a view of me, and we'll go over some of the issues I was having with the gun and how I fixed them before we get into our takedown and review. Okay guys, it's time to go over the Sig Sauer mosquito and some of the issues I've been having with it. Alright, I paid about $350 for this gun not that long ago, and I took it out shooting a couple times, and I looked into different reviews on it, and it seems to have the same issues. These guns are notorious for having feeding issues and failures to eject and different things like that. So I'll go over some of the issues that this gun has and some of the issues I've fixed. One of the things that I noticed is when I was firing the Winchester white boxes, it did not like to load those hollow points at all. And even when you fired them, the gun would cycle back and hit this point of travel with the hammer and kind of stop about right there. It'd be enough to eject the shell, but not enough to go all the way back and pick up the next round to load it. Now with CCI mini mags and velocitors and stingers and things like that, it worked pretty well. But when it came down to using Aguila or Remington Thunderbolts, oddly enough, they seemed to work. Pretty dirty ammo, but had a high enough velocity to fully take that slide all the way back to battery. But I wanted to fix that issue because I like having guns that pretty much run anything I put through them. Hence why I'm a big revolver fan. So I'm going to take you guys over to our mat, and I'm going to take the gun apart. I'm going to explain some of the things that I've done to fix this gun, and one or two of the issues I'm still having with it. Alright guys, stick around, and we'll do our breakdown of the Sig Mosquito. Okay, this part here is for you guys that need to know about how to do the takedown on the Sig Sauer mosquito. It's real simple. You'll notice this little lever right here. All you'll do is you'll turn it all the way towards facing toward the end of the muzzle. We'll pull our slide back and up. Your slide should come right off the frame with the guide rod and the guide rod spring. That's pretty much all there is to takedown. And to put it back together, it's pretty much the same thing, only in reverse order. Put your slide back on, flip your switch back the opposite direction. Okay, let's go over how I fixed some of the issues I was having. Now, take anything I say with a grain of salt. I am not a licensed gunsmith, and if you try any of these modifications for yourself, you're doing so at your own risk. Alright, now that that's out of the way, one of the first things I did was to polish this feed ramp. Now, I've seen a lot of different reviews out there of people doing this, and there is a slight lip where the feed ramp and the barrel meet to each other. Now, I did take that down just a little bit, and I've seen other videos where people have completely polished that down to where it and the feed ramp are one and the same thing. I didn't feel it was necessary to go that far, and so far I was right. This gun now is pretty much running all the ammo I can put through it, right up to around the 200 round mark when most 22s start to foul out and have their normal issues. Now the second thing I did to this gun was to fix the problem of the slide not coming back past this hammer far enough to feed the next round. And in order to fix this, what I did is I put valve grinding compound on this internal rail right here, just a little bit back at the back. And I put our slide back on, and I started to work it back and forth. It took a little while, but after a bit of grinding, I guess you could say, using the valve grinding compound, I pretty much mated these two parts together. Now what we've seen happen was a channel start to form here, if I can get this thing to focus, into our hammer. Come on, pick it up. Just a second, guys. Get this thing to focus here. Oh, come on. Sorry, camera's not want to cooperate with me today. There we go. Anyway, it kind of formed this little groove into the hammer. What it essentially did is it mated the two components to each other. It mated the hammer and the slide to one another. that slight groove taking off maybe 1,000, maybe 2,000 of an inch or so of material really helps this thing to run great. You know, I guess technically I could have messed up the whole gun by doing this, and it was a calculated risk. Like I say, this is me messing around with my own stuff. Wouldn't recommend that you try it. Alright, moving on. Okay, now I don't know how well the camera is going to cooperate with me here, so bear with me. The last issue I'm having with this gun is it is a used firearm. So whoever had it before me really put this thing through its paces. That extractor right there has had quite a bit of wear to it. It'll still extract rounds out, but when it comes to the Winchester white box, it'll get about halfway and then turn loose of the round. So really it's dependent right now on the power of the round to auto-eject itself. Now it will completely extract the CCI mini-mags, but I think it's because the mini-mags have a bigger rim than the Winchester white box. That's probably the next and last thing I need to replace. All in all, this has been a great gun after making the modifications to it. Beforehand, it was really iffy. Now, Sig was having GSG contracted out to make these for Sig Sauer. They no longer make the Mosquito. I believe that GSG is now making the same gun, only they're licensing it under the name of Firefly. So you can find the GSG Firefly out there, and it's pretty much the identical same gun as the Sig Mosquito. The difference is, though, there's about a 100-point price difference between the two guns, and it's mainly because of that name that's on that handle right there. I don't guess you could call this a true Sig Sauer, but it is sporting their brand name, and I guess to them that's worth the extra $100. But it's kind of cool now that you can find these around $100 cheaper, just underneath the GSG logo. But there you go, guys. There's a review over my GSG. I guess you could call it a Firefly, or my Sig Sauer Mosquito, and some of the things that I've had to do in order to make it run. And in my opinion right now, this thing runs almost flawlessly, about as flawless as a 22 semi-auto can run. Now, of course, you are going to have your fouling issues because 22 long rifle is traditionally a dirtier ammo. It's going to be prone to fouling a lot quicker. But for the most part, this thing is great for plinking. In general, pests around the yard, you know, snakes and such. And I really do like all the things that it comes with. It comes with 2 additional mags. It's got these great sights. And I don't know if these are night sights or just high-vis sights, because I've never had these glow. If they were night sights, they pretty much lost all the glow to them. But in the case, they give you 3 different front sights. Each one is considerably lower than the next to control the height. I like using this taller one. They also give you 2 recoil springs. One for a lighter load and one for a heavier load. So that way it can kind of work its way around its feeding issues. But for me, I just keep the same spring in here. I believe this is the heavy spring, and it runs all ammo all through it all the time after I made my modifications to it. And that's the way I like it. Okay, I appreciate you guys stopping by and checking out the review on my Sig Sauer Mosquito. Catch you in the next one.